Hello, hello, hello. Okay, so here's the deal. You go on retreat, you read the book, you do the thing, and then what? How do we live these insights in our daily life? How do we embody a consciousness of oneness in our daily lives? How do we embody a consciousness of oneness when everything seems to be opposite? Everything seems to be apparently against me. How? How do we do that? I don't know. No, I mean, no, I want to share with you living at one-ment in our everyday lives. How do we do this? So that's today's talk. Welcome to Walking the Path, living at one-ment in our daily lives. As you can see, I'm here at Rythmia. What a magnificent place. This week is Women's Week at Rythmia, where it's all women. And I got to teach a class today, one of the classes that I don't get to normally teach, which I was really excited to teach, about the new heart, afterglow. It's one of the things that makes Rythmia so amazing is the classes. This particular class was about the science behind ayahuasca and really helping people get ready for our final ceremony tonight. It's such a powerful week. I had a lady talk to me after class who feels that she is fundamentally broken and inherently broken. Like, not that stuff happened and she got broken, but that she came out broken. And she had a lot of big stuff happen in her life. And the truth is, after 8 years here, I've heard many stories like hers, just as tender for my heart to hear. But I also know that those people have healed. That's what's the amazing thing about Rythmia is people heal. People that thought it wasn't possible. People that thought, if this doesn't work, I'm not going home. And it worked every week. It's amazing. So I want to share with you a little bit about Rythmia. And if you're feeling like there's no hope, this is the place. This is the last resort. Literally, it's the last resort. Okay. So our talk today, living at one-ment. This whole month, we've been talking about at-one-ment, atonement and at-one-ment. Atonement is this old idea of penance, but we refashioned it to at-one-ment. It's a return that it's a return home. It's a return back to yourself, to your truth, to the truth of you. And we're going to complete that journey today. Our first week, we talked about forgiveness. The first week it was Yom Kippur, the Day of Atonement. And we talked about forgiveness and the release of the illusion of separation. The second week, we talked about sacred neutrality. We talked about Anthony DeMello's essay called Show No Partiality. And in that essay, he talks about being the sacred neutrality of life, that we approach things without judgment in the space of knowing oneness, even in the midst of division. And the third week, we were invited to engage with curiosity and respect, engage difference with curiosity and respect. And we talked about constructive ways to have conflict. And we talked about how conflict isn't inherently bad, but that conflict is actually a good thing, that all beautiful things in life and in nature actually come from conflict, that conflict doesn't mean something's breaking down. It means something new is emerging. And if we can conflict well, if we can engage difference with curiosity and respect, conflict can be productive. And the fourth week, last week, with peace in the midst of turbulence. How do we carry the vision of peace even when the circumstances and conditions tell us differently? And then this week, we're going to bring it all home, literally bring it all home to embodiment, to live at one-ment on a daily basis. But you know what? Before we do that, I got to tell you a joke. It's a Halloween joke, so I got to tell you now because it's the 30th of October. So this psychology professor is having a costume party, a Halloween party, and he invites his students, and he says, you've got to come as a psychological condition or disorder. So the night of the party comes, the first student rings the doorbell, they're dressed all in red, and the professor says, what are you? And he says, anger management issues. He goes, great, come on in. The next doorbell rings, and it's another student, they're dressed all in blue, and they have these paper mache heads, going out from either side of their head. And he goes, what are you? He goes, I'm clinically depressed with multiple personality disorder. The guy goes, okay, great, come on in. The third doorbell rings, and it's these two Middle Eastern students, and they're completely naked. And one guy has a string around his neck and is hanging down, and it's attached to a pear. And the pear's in front of his crotch, and his, John Hopkins is in a hole in the pear. And the other guy is completely naked, and he's got a string around his neck, and at the bottom of the string is a bowl of custard, and and he's got his John Thomas in the custard, And so the professor goes, you guys, it's a university function. You can't come naked. But before I send you away, what are you? And the first guy goes, I am deep in despair. I think it's hilarious. And then he goes, what about you? He goes, I'm fucking disgusted. Okay, there's my Halloween joke. Psychology Halloween joke. You can't get this anywhere else, folks. You can't get this anywhere else. All right, so today, we move from an understanding of oneness to living oneness, knowing truth, becoming the truth in action, not just knowing it, but becoming it in action. And At-One-Ment isn't a state we reach. It's a remembrance of our oneness. We got to remember that we're really not separate, that there is no separation between the sacred and the ordinary, that God is everywhere. And I'm not talking about a man in the sky. I'm not talking about Santa Claus. I'm not talking about a projection of humanity. I'm talking about the consciousness, the self-existent mind energy that exists outside of our temporal expression. So I want to offer this reflection that each time we, pause before reacting, each time we listen without judgment or be at peace in the midst of turbulence, this is At-One-Ment. This is At-One-Ment. And it's a verb, right? It's not a noun, it's an action. It's love in motion. And really, it's about how we show up in life. How we show up when I get cut off in traffic, how I show up when that thing that triggers me happens, like how I show up when I'm confronted. It's how we show up. Can I remember my wholeness? Can I remember there's no separation? Can I remember love? When I was in the States in September, I noticed the division. And instead of like denying the division and all of the yuckiness that was going on, I had to be with it, right? I had to be with it and then accept it and hold my oneness in the midst of it, right? I'd hold my oneness in the midst of it. So that's what At-One-Ment is. And everything we see in the outer world, the news, circumstances, collective patterns, they're an outpicturing of our old way of being. Hold on. Thank you. Oh my goodness. The maintenance guy was outside with the blower. And I was like, okay, I can't even concentrate. I don't know if you guys heard it, but I was like, I can't concentrate. I can't. So thank you. Never done that before in the middle of a Facebook Live. So here's the thing. Everything that we have seen, everything that we're experiencing now is like a snapshot of what we used to believe. This is Reverend Michael's teaching that I just love. The news isn't new, it's old. It's the old. It's the reflection of our previously held beliefs, points of view, consciousness, etc. So our work is to hold the vision of what we want to see independent of the circumstance, even though it doesn't look like it. So there's a division and ugliness and hatred and everybody's blaming everybody else and it's their fault and them. What do we do? Well, I don't deny that, but I'm holding the vision for a world where we go beyond pointing fingers. I'm holding a vision for a world where we can have respectful disagreement and talk about things so that we can come up with practical solutions to make people's lives better instead of blaming people. I'm holding that vision. I'm not denying what's going on. I'm not denying my feelings. I'm just saying I want to see a world where there's reconciliation, where we work together, where we see beyond our petty differences to see the humanity in back of all of us. And that means I've got to see the humanity in back of everybody. So this is how we clear the old story. It's through forgiveness. We clear the old pattern by forgiving ourselves and forgiving others, being a loving presence. Forgiveness is the key to move beyond this old pattern, because it's through the vision that we receive the new pattern. Now, if I'm just reacting to the old pattern, then I'm concretizing it, right? If I'm reacting to what's going on now, I'm actually reacting to our collectively old thoughts and beliefs, and therefore I'm perpetuating it. If I want to break that pattern, I can't react to it. I have to respond from a place of love. I have to respond from a place of unity. I have to respond from reconciliation. I have to be the one that says, I'm going to stop taking sides. I want to listen to what you have to say. You know, I want to find common ground. I have to be the one. You have to be the one. Someone's got to be the one. We got to start. We got to hold this consciousness. Peace is not a cause. It's an effect. It's an effect of the consciousness that we're holding. And what we internalize, we materialize. What we think about, we bring about. So we want to be internalizing peace. We got to forgive ourselves. Integration isn't the end of the process. It's the beginning. It's the beginning of living as the process itself. We practice at-one-ment. We practice at-one-ment when we breathe consciously, when we speak truthfully, love generously, serve willingly, forgive quickly. This is how we live at-one-ment. So this is really the idea, is that we start to clear any sense of division and start to remember our wholeness, start to remember our oneness. And it begins with self-love, because all of that ugliness, all of the judgment, all of the accusation and finger pointing, when I do that, it's because I am judging and accusing and exiling myself. When I can finally drop it and love myself as I am, with all my foibles and all my follies and all of my proclivities and when I can do that, when I can finally do that, then all of my judgment about everybody else seems to drop. My judgment and acrimony and disgust and repulsion of what's going on is my own repulsion at myself. When I can finally love myself just as I am, suddenly all that drops out there, and I can actually see people as the face of God. It's not easy. It's not easy, but this is our job. So that's my talk today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm so grateful to have this opportunity. I'll be back next Thursday for Walking the Path. We're going to do a new topic, November. It hasn't dropped yet. I haven't gotten the download yet, so I'll let you know what it's going to be. But November is going to be a great month. It always is. Peace and blessings. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Ending it here.